point where you were scared and wanted to lunge for the steering wheel?
I've driven my car for many miles, and I watch it carefully. Mine doesn't have the most advanced technology.
Okay.
It's the newer one, so I watch it a little bit careful. But what I'm saying is the technology is moving so fast that by next year, I guarantee we'll be at least level 4. Level 5 is the complete, you go to sleep and wake up somewhere else.
Ultimate
Real
SUV.
sense in certain areas and kind of tied in there. Tesla's got their own supercomputer that they're building right now. They actually designed all the silicon, the entire chips of all these computer panels they're putting together. That's called Dojo. It's going to be up and running next year. It's going to be an amazing leap forward in AI.
Let's get Martin's reaction to that. Thanks, Bill. What do you think of all that, Martin?
Well, I'm a proponent of self-driving vehicles. I think the comment about the shortage of truck drivers is absolutely right. It's going to be a very important technology in the future. I just don't think it's going to be next year or something. It's going to take a little longer, both in terms of the technology, in terms of public acceptance, in terms of regulation for it to figure it all out. But you're right. Absolutely, it's coming, and it's going to be very important. And probably because of the looming shortage, just not of truck drivers and also all kinds of other jobs, we're going to need it. As far as Tesla goes, yes, I believe it's a very impressive technology, for sure. In my book, I talk about this, and I compare it with Waymo, which is the other, leading approach. And I think in the long run, maybe Tesla might have an important advantage there, just because they have, as you say, so many cars on the road that they're able to get data from, right, that are actually operating. But still, you're talking about how billions of miles have been driven. That's only right? It's driving on the highway, lane, that kind of thing. It's not driving in San Francisco. And I do think that we're still a long way from, you said you think they'd have level 4 by next year. I'm very doubtful of that. I don't think you're going to be able to go to sleep in your car and have it just drive you somewhere by next year without worrying about it. I would caution you to be very careful with that, okay? Because that's how, people do have accidents. The problem is what's called the edge cases, right? The unusual situations. And it's true for one individual, if you're driving your car, those unusual situations might be very rare.Maybe they'll never happen.
And Martin, let me ask you this.
The thousands of cars, then sooner or later it's going to happen, right? If you had a 1% failure rate, that would be totally unacceptable. You'd have people, getting run over left and right because it would be 1% of the time to thousands and thousands of cars, and that's the problem.
If you jump in your car and you've had too much to drink and it's a driverless car, are you still a drunk driver?
Well, I mean, in that scenario, if you really got a functional self-driving car, then it would be a good thing, right? It would take drunk drivers off the road. And this is true. I believe in the promise of self-driving cars. I believe that eventually these robot cars will drive better than people, in part because they'll never be drunk, but in part because they'll just be better drivers. And it will ultimately, lead to long days. I was just telling you, your previous caller who said she was visually impaired, right? I do think that someday someone like that will be able to get into a car and they'll have the same freedom to go anywhere they want as a person that can drive. So it's a very important technology. I just think that Tesla is getting a little bit ahead of itself in terms of trying to deliver this technology before it's been adequately tested.
Go to Mark in Buffalo, New York. Mark, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks for taking my call. I have an unusual question for Martin.
All right.
It's like when you're on your home computer, you have to program it to tell it what to do, and it's like anything else. So there is still some human involvement in it.
Yes. Do you agree with that, Martin?
Yeah, but things are changing. I mean, this is something that people have said for years and years now. They say computers only do what you tell them to do, or computers have to be programmed. But the whole premise really of artificial intelligence and what's called machine learning, which is the main form of artificial intelligence, the main type of artificial intelligence, is that basically computers are now programming themselves, right? So, for example, we were talking about AlphaGo, right? That was the system that beat the very best Go player in the world. And Go is this game that is much more complicated than chess, right? But they didn't, nobody programmed it to do that, okay? What they did is they let it learn by itself by looking at games of Go, right? That were played previously, and then they let it actually play the game against itself. And it just got smarter and smarter. So there, you know, no human being sat down and wrote computer code and told it what to do step by step. It just learned by itself, and that's what artificial intelligence really is. So we're getting away from this idea that computers only do what we tell them to do. That's the whole point of AI. That's what makes AI different from your regular computer sitting on your desk that, you know, just does stuff. That's what is going to make this technology incredibly disruptive.
Martin, how did you get interested in all this?
Well, I was running a software company in Silicon Valley, just regular software, not artificial intelligence, but, you know, I began to think about these issues, and I saw in my own business how, you know, jobs were going away, things were becoming more digital, and I wrote my first book about this after I thought about it a lot, way back in 2009. And that book, you know, got enough attention and did well enough that I eventually wrote the next book called Rise of the Robot, which was when I talked to you last time. And that book did really quite well, and so I had a chance after that to travel all over the world. You know, I talked to different groups of people that were worried about this, concerned about this. I talked to a lot of the people working in these areas, you know, the scientists building AI, and learn from them, and so lots of demonstrations of the technology.
Well, you jumped right in to be sure. Martin, thank you for being on the program. Do keep in touch with us. Great chat with you. Up next, alien abductions. We're going live to the United Kingdom. Nigel Watson, next.
Coast Insiders, the new version of the Coast to Coast AM app is now available for iPhone and now Android 4.0 and above. Listen live or on demand, anywhere, anytime. Go to coasttocoastam.com and download it today.
With record low interest rates, is it still wise to pay off your home, or has it become unwise? Wall Street says money never sleeps. Well, your home equity is in a coma. It's earning zero. Record low interest rates have created enormous opportunity for homeowners to borrow equity and move into alternative investments. It may have made a lot of sense when interest rates were 6 or 8% to make it your highest priority to pay your home off. But with these record low rates, it's no longer wise. It's a timeless understanding that buying low and selling high is the way to gain wealth. How about borrowing low and investing in higher returns? Call HMS Capital today. With their razor-sharp interest rates, they're confident they're going to earn your business. No appraisal fee, no application fee. So phone them up right away. 833-255-5698. 833-255-5698. That's 833-255-5698. Or visit hmscapital.com.
HMS Capital Funding is a DBA of Golden Empire, MNL ID number 2427. HMS Capital advisors by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 4130360. Equal housing lender.
You must be tired of unclogging drains for 99 bucks.
No, ma'am. Lots of homeowners like you calling about hot water heaters lately.
I bet you smell good plumbers get a pretty penny for diagnosing these things.
Didn't they tell you? The house call is free for residential homeowners with tank-type water heaters.
No way! Dinky's Rooter shot his buku bucks to diagnose our last water heater.
I know. A lot of clients have told me that.
And if I remember right, their guarantee only covers the first year.
Yeah, they use that as the industry standard, but the Mike Diamond standard covers the whole thing. If the hot water heater leaks 5 years and 11 months down the road, we'll install a new one for free, including labor.
That's crazy talk.
It may be crazy, but it's true.
This is Mike Diamond, and I guarantee my plumber will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free.
Have a smell good plumber diagnose your hot water heater for free. Call 1-800-446-MIKE or check out the Hot Water Heaters page at MikeDiamond.com. Contractor license number of 399170.
Perfect for achy, indecisive minds. Kfi Cooling Info Gel quickly relieves ignorance and leaves a minty fresh scent.
KFI. KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Silmar, this is on the 5 southbound before the 210. Police activity has all lanes blocked. Two drivers stacking up from just after Cal Grove. Huntington Beach, we have a full freeway closure, 405 southbound from Beach Boulevard to Magnolia. All lanes are going to be off limits until 5. In Ontario, this is on the 60 eastbound from Vineyard to Archibald Avenue. 3 left lanes going to be coned off until 5. Your drive is a crawl throughout that area. KFI and the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Van.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Are you on Medicare or soon to be on Medicare? Some important news from Newsmax. The Medicare Board of Trustees just released a report saying it will run out of money in 2026. It's happening sooner than imagined. All this week, Grant Stinchfield reveals the shocking story of Medicare abuse. He talks to the insiders, tells you what happened, and shows you how you can protect your insurance. Watch Stinchfield's Medicare Abuse series on Newsmax at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Newsmax is America's fastest-growing cable news channel. It's on every major cable system. Check your cable guide. If your cable system doesn't carry Newsmax, call your operator or switch to a service that does. Get Newsmax on most streaming services or download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone. It takes just seconds. Medicare is in real trouble. Get the facts about your insurance. Newsmax gives you real perspective on issues that matter most. You should watch Stinchfield on Newsmax tonight. Hi, Ma. Did you get my list? What? Too early to talk Christmas? And now the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Sapphire September giveaway. Get a 5-quart Dutch oven when you earn 500 points on your reward card, the 27th or 28th.
Number 4.
Get your groove on with live music every weekend at the Sideline Bar.
3.
We know you're ready for some football. So are we. Notice the big screens everywhere?
Number 2.
Get funky with the Commodore. Live October 1st. We will sell out. Get your tickets now.
And the number 1 reason.
Pay with points. It's simple. Play, earn, then pay for gas, gifts, and food with your reward points.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Morongo. Good times.
Imagine a world without breast cancer. What if you were the one more we needed to raise one more dollar? Take one more step. Share one more story. Join us September 25th for Susan G. Komen's More Than Pink Walk and witness the power of one. Visit Komen.org/register today.
Do you think I'm going to get in trouble for what I just said?
Sure hope so.
The boss is outside the window here. She's waiting. Not good. If we just keep going.
You coming in? Do you want
Staring
that?
at the light.
Jerry and Shannon.
Weekdays at 10 a.m.
On KFI.
I don't know. I think there's something to it, right? You know, you don't have to be anywhere. You know, you lay your head wherever you are.
This is a guy who lives out of a shopping cart. Could you do that?
I'm close.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show.
Weeknights at 6.
On KFI. KFI. AM 640.
You pick the top tier of 5 or 6 or 8 even and say these are the people we think have the best ideas, and we're going to use all of the other 13, 14 people to be the main advisors on how to get this ball over the touchdown line and end zone.
Can we dump
I ran
that
out of
10
steam.
seconds?
Yeah, that last part where I tried to make a sports analogy and it sounded like handle.
Jerry and Shannon.
Weekdays at 10 a.m.
KFI.
Iron Chest.
Yeah.
What's burning in the kitchen is my mom's cooking show. Did your mom and dad used to you put the shoes in the oven, just to dry out in the winter, and then they forgot they were in the oven.
And everything. And my mom used to surf it. Yeah.
Here we go. Jersey cold winter.
Yes, the Tim Conway Jr. Show.
Weeknights at 6
On KFI.
But anyway, the helicopter just flew over us and shined the light in. And I can't tell by the helicopter who it is. Did it say on Twitter who it was? No, they didn't tweet about it.
Tim Lynn said it was me.
Oh, it was Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Tim Lynn is takes time out to flash his friends.
The Tim Conway Jr. Show.
Weeknights at 6
On KFI.
Is ridiculous stage nonsense
It's not ridiculous, and it's not nonsense. What it does is it cleans out the bad energy in a room.
Are you saying like an hour later it's going to be a kind, fun show?
No, I don't think that will happen.
How much money would we make doing that? John wouldn't fart. We'd have better air.
Well, Ken, I brought you a stage stick.
A stage stick? Where do I put that?
John and Ken.
Here's some options.
Weekdays 2 to 6 on KFI.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. Take your time, we stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's bad lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their mind, getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
From coast to coast and worldwide on the internet, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie.
Alien life in our galaxy could be 100 times more likely than scientists previously thought, according to new research. The same ingredients needed for seeding life on our planet are also found around other stars, according to one astronomer. That's fascinating indeed, but we probably already knew that. In a moment, we're going live to the United Kingdom. Nigel Watson with us as we talk about his work, Captured by Aliens, a history and analysis of American abduction claims, next on Coast to Coast AM. This fall, Bespoke Post, I'll tell you about them, is here with a new seasonal lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections, and they are so cool. Bespoke Post partners with small businesses and emerging brands to bring you the most unique goods every month. No matter what you're into, Box of Awesome has you covered. From autumn craft beers to cozy threads and camping gear essentials, so many other things too. Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. Now to get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Remember that website. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. Now, they release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. It's free to sign up. You can skip a month if you want to, or cancel anytime. Most people don't. Each box costs $45, but has over $70 worth of gear and goods inside. It's a great deal. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code George at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code George for 20% off your first box.
We've got an incredible guest right now, Christine Rose. How did you become involved in holistic health and healing?
By being extremely ill and trying to find a solution. I was told I was dying with 3 months to live, and I wasn't going to give up. I was treated every day with carnivore, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You don't really have to be very ill to have the benefits of carnivore. You cannot stop and say, oh, I had enough, I feel good. That is the wrong way. That's why I feel so fantastic, and I'm past 80.
Beautiful.
Carnivora will make all the difference in the world.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivora.com. That's carnivora.com.
And welcome back to Coast. George Dory with you. Nigel Watson back with us. Nigel has researched and investigated historical and contemporary reports of UFO sightings since the 70s. He has published articles in 40 Times, Fate, Flying the Saucer Review, Magonia, and UFO Magazine. He's the author of UFOs of the First War, the UFO Investigations Manual and Captured by Aliens, a history and analysis of American abduction claims. Lives in the United Kingdom. And Nigel, welcome back, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, it's nice and sunny here.
That's good. COVID? Yeah. Is everybody on lockdown, or things opening up out there?
Sort of opening up a bit. People still have to wear, well, people wear masks and there's a little bit of social distancing, but
yeah,
you'd hardly notice it really. You know, and there's even quite some mass gatherings now, so it's kind of, it's a lot better than it was last year.
No, that's good.
You know, first lockdown, it was like a ghost town, really. It's really strange walking around with hardly any traffic, and now, you know, you notice how noisy traffic and, just going into a pub nowadays when there's people actually in there, it's so noisy, whereas before, when pubs did reopen, you had to sort of sit outside, or, you know, everything had screens.
That's right.
So, you know, things are gradually sort of coming back to normal, but, you know, I suppose it's still lurking about, really. So, fortunately, you know, a lot of people have been sort of double vaccinated by now, so that helps a bit. But you never know, because there might be new variants.
New strains, that's right.
Yeah, so it's a bit like you were saying earlier about them finding, you know, life elsewhere in the universe. Life proliferates everywhere in every form.
That's right.
So in a way, you know, this is just an indication of what different, you know, forms of organisms can sort of arise and, you know, live off other, you know, beings, or survive and pass themselves on to other people. So I think that's the thing, isn't it, that, you know, if you look around on planet Earth, there's so many varieties of life, and you know, from the sort of microscopic level right up to humans, really. And, you know, it's very hard to believe there can't be life elsewhere in the universe. And I think a great step towards that would be to find life on Mars, or even in the atmosphere of, say, Jupiter, on one of the satellites of one of the planets of the solar system, and you know, despite trying, you know, I think that would be a massive leap in the perception of life elsewhere. Really, it took us a long time to get this far, really.
That's right.
I think even in the 60s, something like the search for extraterrestrial intelligence was very much in its infancy, and it was always regarded as a sort of bit of an astronomical sideline, really, and nobody really took it that seriously. You know, we have the Drake equation, which should work out, you know, that there must be a proportion of planets in our galaxy that should have intelligent life, but I suppose, like with any equation, it depends on what information and parameters you have to, get an answer to it. But I think now with all this interest in unidentified aerial phenomena, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence has had a bit of a boost to it, really, and become a bit more respectable.
Sure has. Nigel, take us back to the beginning for you. How did you get interested in all this?
It kind of started with the Apollo moon landing missions. I was really impressed by Apollo 8 that went round the moon. It went round the moon. And I think
during Christmas time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Christmas time, so I suppose I was more likely to, I was quite young then and impressionable. And, it was at Christmas time, and it seemed quite a special thing to happen, and I think that they also took that picture of, like, Earthrise, and that you realise you were living on a planet in a very large universe, really, and it kind of put everything in perspective, and I think it just captured my imagination, and I just started putting out any news clippings from the local papers or anywhere, really, and at school I used to go in the library and we used to get something like the London Times, and I remember once I sort of cut out a big story on the front page, and then a few minutes later I saw the teacher pick up the paper and there was a big hole in it. So I sort of scuttled off, really, and I think from there I went to the local library and got books on sort of astronomy and that sort of thing, but we also put books about UFOs nearby, so I kind of ventured into reading them. I think I read something like George Adamski, and
he's the guy who claimed he went to Venus, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what I really thought of them, because there's also something like there's a book called An Intelligent Man's Guide to UFOs, and a few other. I think there might have been a Donald Kehoe book, so they were a bit more grounded in sort of facts, if you know what I mean, and they actually had reports of, pilots seeing UFOs and more solid type of cases, whereas, the George Adamski case was more, it's not only going flying off into, I think he went to Saturn and different places and meeting aliens, but he also met humanoid of aliens in dinos and in real life as well. So that's a bit of a leap, really, from, lights in the sky and perhaps metallic discs to actual encounters. And I think at that time, sort of by the this was probably late 60s, early 70s, I think even then, it was kind of hardcore ufologists weren't that keen on Adamski. There was a bit of a division between people who still believed in contactees. I think the contactees were kind of set back in the 1960s when NASA and Russia sent probes to Mars and Venus and realised there weren't the sort of paradise, paradise locations full of aliens and, cities on the surface. So, in a way, what I suppose happened with contactees is that kind of place alien locations further away from the solar system and in other star systems, whereas, with Adamski and quite a few others at that time, they regarded other planets in the solar system as sort of being inhabited.
Why are we getting these kinds of cases, Nigel, like we did in the past? And we'll get into some of them tonight with you. But it doesn't seem like we're getting the alien abduction stories or the contactee stories that we used to get. How come?
I think sometimes it's due to the fact that people aren't so too keen to disclose experiences. So sometimes it can take perhaps a decade or more for somebody to come out with a story. You know, I spoke to somebody recently and they have only really kind of come out and they've had experiences since the sort of 1970s. So it can be that, you know, it depends on things like at the moment review apps and things. I think it's given people a bit more confidence to publicise the case, but I think there can be quite a stigma really, because there's a famous British abductee called Alan Godfrey, and it was in Todmorden, Yorkshire. And I actually met somebody who used to live there, and he said when he was a teenager, whenever they saw Alan in the local pub, they'd whistle the tune to the X-Files, you know. So, you know, people can be quite cruel, really.
Sure.
And, you know, I think that's one factor. In fact, I don't know really, it seems to